Right on, right on, right on.
Easy Steps in the Bible Story by Adelaide B. Evans, Book 1, 6 of 8. The Story of Abraham, Part 3 of 3 parts. Abraham's faith had failed to stand the test of waiting for the birth of Isaac. So when the young man was about 20 years old, the Lord tried his servant again. Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, he said, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of. Abraham had doubted God before, but in this great test his faith did not fail. With a heavy heart he prepared the wood and the fire, and with his dear boy and 2 servants set out on the journey. After they had traveled 3 days, the place came in sight, afar off. Then Abraham told the servants to stay where they were till he should come back, and he and Isaac went the rest of the way by themselves. As they walked on up the mountain, the father and son talked together. Isaac had been with his father before to offer sacrifice, but they had always taken with them the animals for the offering. Now they had only the wood he was carrying and the fire. "Father," said Isaac, as they walked along, "behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" To this Abraham answered quietly, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb." Abraham did not say this to deceive Isaac, but because he wished to spare him any sorrow. His answer shows that he trusted the whole matter to God. At last Abraham and Isaac came to the place where the sacrifice was to be offered. An altar was built, and the wood was laid upon it. Then Abraham told Isaac what the Lord had commanded, and Isaac, though a strong young man, permitted himself to be bound and laid upon the altar. This shows that he was an obedient, loving son, and that he too trusted in God. When Abraham stretched forth his hand to take the life of his beloved son, the angel of the Lord called to him out of heaven and said, "Lay not thine hand upon the lad, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me." Then Abraham looked, and in the thicket behind him was a ram caught by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for the burnt offering in the stead of his son. Abraham's heart was filled with gratitude and praise to God, and he called the name of the place Jehovah-Jireh, which means the Lord will provide. After this, Abraham and Isaac went back to the place where the young men who had come with them were waiting, and they rose up and went to the Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. When Isaac was 40 years old and his mother was dead, Abraham called his trusted servant Eliezer and said, "Thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac." So Eliezer took 10 camels with servants and costly gifts and departed. And he came to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. While Eliezer waited by this well, he prayed for a sign that he might know which young woman the Lord had chosen to be the wife of Isaac. "Let it come to pass," he said, "that the damsel to whom I shall say, 'Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink,' and she shall say, 'Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also,' let the same be she that thou hast appointed for Isaac." And it came to pass before he had done speaking, that Rebekah, a fair young woman, came to the well with a pitcher on her shoulder. Not only was Rebekah fair of face, but she was kind-hearted and thoughtful. When Eleazar asked, "Let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher," she said, "Drink, my lord." And as soon as he had finished drinking, she said, "I will draw water for thy camels also." And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and ran again unto the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. By this Eleazar knew that the Lord had heard his prayer, and given him the sign for which he had asked. So quickly and so surely did the answer come, that he wondered. Then Eleazar opened one of the packages of gifts that had been sent for the young woman who should be chosen to be Isaac's wife, and took from it a golden earring and 2 golden bracelets. These he gave to Rebekah. He asked whose daughter she was, and learned that she was the granddaughter of Abraham's brother. Then he asked if there was room in her father's house for him to stay that night. And Rebekah answered, "We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in." Eleazar's heart was filled with gratitude to God when he heard these words. He knew surely that the Lord had led him to that place, and had directed him to Rebekah. In love and thankfulness he bowed his head and worshipped the Lord, saying, "Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth." Rebekah ran home quickly, and told all that had taken place, and showed the presents that Eleazar had given her. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And he said, "Come in, thou blessed of the Lord. Wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house, and room for the camels." So Eleazar came into the house, but when food was set before him, he said, "I will not eat until I have told mine errand." When Rebekah's family heard Eleazar's story, and knew that he wished Rebekah to go with him to become Isaac's wife, they said, "Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her, and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken." Then Eleazar brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold, and beautiful raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave rich and precious gifts to her mother, and to Laban her brother. Afterward he ate and drank, and rested that night. In the morning Eleazar wished to start at once on his homeward journey, but Rebekah's mother urged him to stay a few days. To her entreaty he answered, "Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away, that I may go to my master." And they said, "We will call the damsel, and inquire at her mouth." And they called Rebekah, and said unto her, "Wilt thou go with this man?" And she said, "I will go." So that very morning they went away. Rebekah's nurse went with her, and the young women who were her servants. Rebekah and her maidens rode on camels, following after Eleazar and his servants. One evening, as they were nearing the end of their journey, Rebekah looked up and saw a man walking in the field. "What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us?" she asked of Eleazar, and he answered, "It is my master." Then Rebekah took a veil and covered herself, as was the custom in those days, and she alighted from her camel and went forward with Eleazar to meet Isaac. Eleazar told Isaac all about his journey as they walked slowly along in the field together in the beautiful sunset light. Isaac was glad as he heard the story, for he knew that the Lord had chosen the one who was to be his wife. He knew, too, that she was tender-hearted and courteous and kind, as well as beautiful. Isaac had been very lonely since his mother died. Now Rebekah became his wife, and the Bible tells us that he loved her and was comforted after his mother's death. When Abraham was 175 years old, he died, and his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him by the side of Sarah in the cave of Machpelah in Mamre. Ishmael was now a great desert chief.
And yeah, thanks for watching.